Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Raising revenue by punishing achievement. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Is more of the same from President Obama today, demanding a tax increase on wealthy Americans and corporations in order to cut the enormous federal debt.
Explained by somebody who's making $50 million a year in the financial markets should be paying 15% on their taxes, when a teacher making $50,000 a year is paying more than that, paying a higher rate. They ought to have to answer for that.
Well, Mr. President, I do have an answer. Of course I do. Number one, you're talking about long-term capital gains tax, currently at 15%. But you and your pal Warren Buffett never say that. You equate the 15% cap gains tax with the federal income tax. That is not fair. That's because capital gains tax is levied on profits from invested money that has already been taxed. Let's take me, for example. I pay 35% in federal income tax. Some of my take-home pay is invested. And if I make some money on the investment, the government comes right back at me for 15% of it, or more if I make the profit in less than a year. So let's see, 35% plus 15% on profits, a nice return for the feds on my sweat equity, is it not? Okay, let's continue, Mr. President. If I lose money on my investments, a good possibility, you only allow me to deduct $3,000 a year. Therefore, my risk in investing is substantial. Now, you want to up the ante on my winnings. But you don't say how much, because the stock market will go nuts if you do. With all due respect, the tax-to-rich deal is bogus, as I'll demonstrate in a moment. And one more thing, Mr. President. In August of 2009, you said this.
The last thing you want to do is to raise taxes in the middle of a recession because that would just suck up, take more demand out of the economy and put businesses in a further hole.
Correct. So let me ask you, what's changed in 2 years? Economy's still awful, unemployment's even higher. So why have you, Mr. President, changed your mind about a tax increase on the affluent and business? Here's the unintended consequence of Mr. Obama's revenue-enhancing plan, and I must tell you, I want the feds to get more revenue. I don't want to starve them, as some people do. We need a robust military, a good transportation system, and protections all over the place. But if you tax achievement, some of the achievers are going to pack it in. Again, let's take me. My corporations employ scores of people. They depend on me to do what I do, so they can make a nice salary. If Barack Obama begins taxing me more than 50%, which is very possible, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. I like my job, but there comes a point when taxation becomes oppressive. Is the country really entitled to half a person's income? Finally, this fair share garbage has got to stop. Right now, taxpayers with incomes above $1 million represent just 0.2%, not 2%, 0.2% of all income tax returns. Yet the million-dollar babies pay 21% of all the federal income tax. Fair share, Mr. President? You make the call.